A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. It's better to hold on to something you have for certain rather than risk losing it by trying to attain something better. Having something tangible or certain is more valuable than the possibility of something more valuable but uncertain. She was tempted by a higher-paying job, but she decided that a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. He thought about selling his house in hopes of finding a better one, but he realized that a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. I know the job offer isn't perfect, but a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. They considered leaving their stable hometown for the excitement of a big city, but they remembered that a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Instead of gambling with risky investments, he prefers to stick with what's safe. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. To kill two birds with one stone. To accomplish two tasks with a single action or effort. To achieve two objectives simultaneously or with one action. By picking up groceries on her way home from work, she killed two birds with one stone. He combined his business trip with a vacation to kill two birds with one stone. By studying during her lunch break, she managed to kill two birds with one stone, eating and preparing for the exam. She listened to audiobooks while exercising to kill two birds with one stone, getting fit and staying informed. Instead of attending two separate meetings, they decided to schedule a joint session to kill two birds with one stone. The elephant in the room. An obvious problem or issue that everyone is aware of, but nobody wants to address or discuss. A sensitive or controversial topic that is avoided in order to maintain harmony or avoid discomfort. The lack of diversity in the workplace was the elephant in the room during the diversity training session. Climate change is the elephant in the room that politicians often avoid discussing. The team's poor performance was the elephant in the room during the post-game analysis. Their financial struggles were the elephant in the room during the family gathering. His drinking problem became the elephant in the room that strained his relationships with family and friends. Hold your horses. To wait or be patient. To slow down or pause before taking action. To stop and reconsider one's actions or decisions. To refrain from rushing into something. Before signing the contract, hold your horses and review the terms carefully. Before you start spending money on renovations, hold your horses and consider your budget. He wanted to quit his job impulsively, but his friend advised him to hold his horses and think it over. Hold your horses. Let's make sure we have all the information before making a decision. Hold your horses. We need to discuss this further before moving forward. Fish out of water. Someone who feels uncomfortable or out of place in a particular situation. A person who is in an unfamiliar environment and doesn't know how to behave. As an introvert at a loud party, I often feel like a fish out of water. Being the only vegetarian at the barbecue, she felt like a fish out of water. When I attended the advanced math class, I felt like a fish out of water among all the genius students. Growing up in the city, he felt like a fish out of water when he visited his relatives in the countryside. As a non-native speaker, he often feels like a fish out of water in meetings conducted entirely in English. Barking up the wrong tree. To pursue the wrong course of action or approach to a problem. To mistakenly focus on someone or something that is not relevant to the issue at hand. If you think I took your pen, you're barking up the wrong tree. I haven't seen it. The manager was barking up the wrong tree when he accused the wrong department of the budget shortfall. If you're looking for the culprit, you're barking up the wrong tree. It was an accident. I think you're barking up the wrong tree by blaming the new employee for the mistake. The police were barking up the wrong tree when they suspected the wrong person of the crime. Sitting duck. Someone or something that is vulnerable to attack or criticism, usually due to being exposed or defenseless. A target that is easily reachable or accessible for harm or danger. The company's outdated cybersecurity measures left its database a sitting duck for hackers. Without cover, the soldier was a sitting duck for enemy snipers. Without security, the store was a sitting duck for thieves. The injured animal was a sitting duck for predators in the wild. With its engine malfunctioning, the stranded boat was a sitting duck for rescue teams. Let sleeping dogs lie. To avoid stirring up old conflicts or issues, especially when doing so could cause trouble. To refrain from disturbing a situation or problem that could remain inactive if left alone. We all agreed to let sleeping dogs lie and not discuss the incident further. The disagreement had been forgotten until someone decided to bring it up again, proving the wisdom of letting sleeping dogs lie. Bringing up the topic of her ex-boyfriend would be like waking sleeping dogs. It's better to let it go. He decided not to mention the mistake in the report, opting to let sleeping dogs lie. I know you're upset, but sometimes it's best to let sleeping dogs lie and move on. Monkey see, monkey do. The tendency of people to imitate the actions or behaviors of others, often without thinking or understanding why. The phenomenon where individuals mimic the actions of others, especially when those actions are perceived as desirable or rewarding. Some marketing campaigns rely on monkey see, monkey do tactics, portraying desirable behaviors to encourage consumer imitation. Children often exhibit monkey see, monkey do behavior, copying what they see adults do. In many workplaces, employees engage in monkey see, monkey do behavior, mirroring the actions of their coworkers. He realized his son had been practicing monkey see, monkey do after catching him imitating his gestures and expressions. Parents need to be mindful of their actions, as children have a tendency to engage in monkey see, monkey do behavior. A picture is worth 1,000 words. Visual images can convey complex ideas more effectively than words alone. A single image can represent or communicate a significant amount of information or emotion. The advertising campaign relied on striking visuals, understanding that a picture is worth 1,000 words. The painting captured the essence of the city, proving that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Instead of describing the scene, she showed him a photograph, believing that a picture is worth 1,000 words. The graphic novel tells the story through images rather than text, demonstrating that a picture is worth 1,000 words. He chose to create an infographic to present the data, recognizing that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Works like a charm, something that is very effective in achieving a desired result, a method or solution that consistently produces successful outcomes. Using a paperclip to reset the router works like a charm to fix the internet connection. Adding lemon juice to the recipe works like a charm to enhance the flavor. Applying aloe vera gel to sunburn works like a charm to soothe the skin. Taking a short walk in the fresh air works like a charm to clear my mind. Drinking warm milk before bed works like a charm to help me sleep better. Draw a blank. To be unable to remember or recall something. To have no ideas or information about a particular topic. To fail to come up with an answer or solution. To be at a loss for words or ideas. I try to remember his name, but I drew a blank. During the exam, I drew a blank on one of the questions. When it comes to new ideas, I often draw a blank. She asked me for advice, but I drew a blank and couldn't think of anything to say. When asked about the answer, he drew a blank and couldn't remember. Paint the town red. To go out and celebrate in a lively and extravagant manner, often involving drinking, dancing, and socializing. To have a wild or enjoyable time, typically while visiting various entertainment venues or establishments. After the successful product launch, we decided to paint the town red. It's my birthday, so let's dress up and paint the town red. The newlyweds painted the town red on their honeymoon. Whenever his friends visit from out of town, they paint the town red. The graduation party was an opportunity for the students to paint the town red. Steal the show. To attract the most attention or praise during a performance, event, or gathering. To outshine others in terms of performance, charisma, or impact. The guest comedian stole the show with her hilarious jokes. The magician's grand finale trick stole the show and left the audience in awe. Her stunning gown stole the show at the red carpet event. The talented young singer stole the show with her powerful vocals. Despite being a supporting character, his performance stole the show. Art imitates life. Creative works such as literature, film, or visual arts often reflect or mirror real-life experiences, situations, or emotions. The portrayal of real-life events or human experiences in artistic or creative forms. The playwright drew inspiration from personal experiences because art imitates life. The film's depiction of family dynamics resonated with audiences because art imitates life. The novel's characters and plot lines are so realistic because art imitates life. The painting captures the essence of everyday life because art imitates life. The sculpture's lifelike details evoke a sense of reality because art imitates life. The devil is in the details. Small or minor details can cause significant problems or complications if overlooked. Difficulties or challenges are often found in the specifics or finer points of a situation. The recipe seemed easy, but the devil is in the details, and precise measurements were crucial. Designing the building required careful attention to detail because the devil is in the details. The presentation looked impressive, but the devil is in the details, and there were spelling errors. The contract appeared straightforward, but upon closer examination, the devil is in the details, and there were ambiguous clauses. While the plan seemed perfect overall, the devil is in the details, and there were many logistical issues. In the limelight. To be the center of attention or public focus, especially in a positive or prestigious way. To be prominently featured or recognized for one's achievements, talents, or contributions. The politician's controversial remarks put him in the limelight, but not in a positive way. After winning the award, the actress found herself in the limelight. The new product was in the limelight, attracting media attention and consumer interest. The musician enjoyed being in the limelight after the release of her hit single. The athlete excelled in the competition and soon found himself in the limelight. Cutting edge. At the forefront of innovation or advancement, using the latest or most advanced technology or methods. Innovative or pioneering, pushing the boundaries of conventional practices or ideas. The fashion designer's collection showcases cutting-edge designs that set trends. The startup company aims to develop cutting-edge solutions for renewable energy. The artist's installations are cutting-edge, blending traditional mediums with digital technologies. The new smartphone features cutting-edge technology that surpasses its competitors. The Research Institute is known for its cutting-edge discoveries in the field of biotechnology. Nail it. To successfully achieve or accomplish something with precision and accuracy. To perform exceptionally well. To excel or achieve the desired outcome. Despite the pressure, the team managed to nail the project deadline. The chef nailed the recipe, impressing everyone with the perfect dish. The actor nailed the audition and landed the leading role in the film. After months of training, he finally nailed the difficult dance routine. She practiced her presentation until she could nail it in front of the audience. God-fearing. Having a deep reverence or respect for God. Being devoutly religious and living according to religious principles. The community admired her God-fearing attitude, evident in her charitable deeds. His God-fearing nature led him to volunteer at the local church every week. She was raised in a God-fearing household where prayer was a daily practice. Many people turned to God-fearing leaders for guidance during times of crisis. The God-fearing townsfolk gathered in prayer after the natural disaster. Walk with God. To live in accordance with religious beliefs and principles. To maintain a close and devout relationship with God. Each morning, he starts his day with prayer, reaffirming his commitment to walk with God. His decision to become a missionary was driven by his desire to walk with God. Despite challenges, she always strives to walk with God and live a righteous life. The pastor encouraged his congregation to walk with God in both good times and bad. The elderly woman's unwavering faith allowed her to walk with God until her last breath. God's will. The divine plan or intention of God. Accepting events or circumstances as ordained by God, regardless of personal desires. When faced with difficult decisions, she relies on her faith to discern God's will. Despite setbacks, he remains steadfast in his faith, believing in God's will for his future. After much prayer, they accepted that their son's illness was part of God's will. She found solace in trusting God's will, even in times of adversity. Believers often seek guidance through prayer to discern God's will in their lives. Act of God. A natural disaster or catastrophic event believed to be caused by the will of God. Legal terminology referring to events beyond human control, such as natural disasters. The drought was attributed to an act of God, leading farmers to seek divine intervention through prayer. The insurance policy covered damages caused by acts of God, including earthquakes and floods. In legal disputes, acts of God clauses protect parties from liability for unforeseeable events. The hurricane was described as an act of God, devastating entire communities. Following the tornado, many viewed the destruction as an act of God, prompting prayers for recovery. Higher power. A deity or divine being with authority and influence over human affairs. A spiritual force or entity beyond human comprehension or control. The concept of a higher power is central to many religious and spiritual traditions. Despite doubts, he acknowledges the existence of a higher power governing the universe. She finds comfort in believing that a higher power is guiding her through life's challenges. Alcoholics Anonymous encourages members to surrender to a higher power for healing and recovery. Meditation helps him connect with a higher power and find inner peace. Divine intervention. The direct involvement of God or a divine being in human affairs. The belief that supernatural forces intervene to influence events or outcomes. Many believers pray for divine intervention during times of crisis or uncertainty. The miraculous recovery was attributed to divine intervention by the doctors. The sudden change in weather was seen as divine intervention by the sailors. Survivors of the accident credited their escape to divine intervention. The unexpected turn of events was interpreted as divine intervention by the community. God helps those who help themselves. One must take initiative and put effort into solving their own problems rather than relying solely on divine intervention. Success or assistance from God is more likely to come to those who take action and demonstrate initiative. Instead of waiting for a miracle, he decided to start his own business, believing that God helps those who help themselves. The proverb, "God helps those who help themselves," encourages individuals to take responsibility for their actions and decisions. The community came together to rebuild after the disaster, understanding that God helps those who help themselves. She knew that praying alone wouldn't solve her financial struggles. She needed to find a job. After all, God helps those who help themselves. He believed that studying hard for exams was essential because God helps those who help themselves. Spare the rod and spoil the child. If children are not disciplined when they misbehave, they will grow up to be spoiled or poorly behaved. The importance of using punishment or discipline to teach children right from wrong and ensure proper behavior. He grew up in a household where the philosophy of spare the rod and spoil the child was strictly enforced. While she valued kindness and understanding, she also believed in the proverb, "Spare the rod and spoil the child," when it came to discipline. The teacher emphasized the importance of discipline, citing the proverb, "Spare the rod and spoil the child." Some parents believe in the proverb, "Spare the rod and spoil the child," as a justification for using physical discipline. She adhered to the principle of spare the rod and spoil the child by enforcing strict rules and consequences for her children's behavior. In God's hands. Surrendering control or outcomes to God's will, trusting in divine guidance or providence. Accepting that certain matters or circumstances are beyond human control and leaving them to God's care. The uncertain outcome of the surgery was daunting, but he found peace in surrendering to God's hands. After exhausting all options, they left the situation in God's hands, trusting that everything would work out. The family faced financial hardship but remained hopeful, placing their future in God's hands. Despite the challenges ahead, they embarked on the journey, knowing they were in God's hands. She prayed fervently, leaving her worries in God's hands and finding comfort in faith. Survival of the fittest. The concept that organisms that are best adapted to their environment are more likely to survive and reproduce. The principle that individuals or groups with superior traits or abilities are more likely to succeed or prosper. Only the strongest and most resilient plants survive in this arid climate, illustrating the principle of survival of the fittest. The company's restructuring led to layoffs, reflecting the reality of survival of the fittest in the corporate world. Darwin's theory of evolution by natural selection is often summarized as survival of the fittest. The harsh conditions in the wilderness test the survival of the fittest among the animal population. In the competitive business world, it's often a case of survival of the fittest. Evolutionary leap. A significant and rapid advancement or development in the evolutionary process of a species. A major and transformative change or improvement in a particular area or field. The invention of the Internet marked an evolutionary leap in communication and information exchange. The introduction of smartphones represented an evolutionary leap in technology, changing how people interact and access information. The discovery of fire was an evolutionary leap for early humans, revolutionizing their way of life. The evolution of birds from dinosaurs is considered a significant evolutionary leap in the history of life on Earth. The ability to communicate through language was a crucial evolutionary leap for human civilization. You can find playlists for various languages in the video description. To practice the vocabulary, you are encouraged to explore our various apps. Links to these are also included in the description. If you found something new or interesting, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section and provide your valuable feedback. And please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more educational content.